Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark. No more of those mocha things, Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay, slow motion fooled on a glass table, Cluett. Welcoming you aboard Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. On this podcast, Mark and I have been through the entire Deep Blue Sea trilogy, scene by scene, looking at some Deep Blue Sea adjacent films. That's films featuring sharks, aquatic action, or directed by Renny Harlin. And today is the latter. It's one of the last remaining Renny Harlin films we have to get to. Cleaner. What is Cleaner? What is a 2007 film directed by Renny Harlin and starring Samuel L. Jackson, Ed Harris, Eva Mendes, Luis Guzmán, in which Sam Jackson plays a ex-cop, now a crime scene cleanup guy who cleans up a crime and accidentally takes the key with him, comes back the next day, no sign, no one knows what is going on, what's even there, and he has a mystery to untangle. Dun dun dun. So we need a guest who was talking about Cleaner. We had a guest in the first season of Deep Blue Sea who was very irritated.
You have an all-timer quote on our show, too. All-timer story, Jay.
Yeah, someone who went to see Deep Blue Sea, and when Samuel Jackson's character, spoiler alert, died, he and his family got up and left. So I thought he was the perfect guest to come back for a Sam Jackson film in which, no spoiler, he survives. The whole film is him. So perfect guest. Back to the show from Specific Reviews is DJ Valentine. DJ, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me on here. I'm the Deep Blue Sea villain. They always keep me in the plot. So I'm like Thanos in terms of I'm always like just watching to see when you guys get too big for your britches and you want to you get too high in the Deep Blue Sea, throw. I just want to knock you down. Like no. You liking this too much. Let me just put some salt in your food that doesn't need salt. Okay. So yes, that's why I'm here. I'm here to. I have one question though. One important question. Okay. I don't know. You might have this in your notes earlier. But I just later. But is that the same Deep Blue Sea wig Samuel Jackson is sporting? Because it looks very similar to the same Deep Blue Sea wig that Samuel Jackson sports in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, they still had it laying around. They
actually just put it on.
Yeah, it was in a Transylvanian salt mine next to the Event Horizon, film, and they just pulled it out of there, and they're like, "Hey, here you go," and they slapped it on his head, and now we have Cleaner. It was in the commentary, too. Yeah, he talked about how he went in there and dug around the Transylvanian salt mine. Talking about salt, you were trying to rub salt in our wounds, and now we're in salt mines.
Yeah. I dig it.
This movie, Cleaner. It's, you know what I like about it?
What do you like about it? Tell me.
Tell us.
Okay, there's just too few of these. It's a self-contained
story
thriller. $25 million budgeted thriller that just, it's like, hey, I'm going to write one movie. I'm not going to worry about sequels. I'm just going to tell a little mystery here. I'm going to bring in Eddie H. I'm going to bring in, Sammy J, Eva M. And we're just going to make a fun movie here. Like bring in Robert Forster for a little bit and then go to Shreveport and make a movie.
Palmer.
Yeah, it's just like a one and done. It's nice. I like a one and done mystery thriller type film. And I like cleaning. Yeah, I like insert shots. Like,
listen, cleaning? Who is this?
If I got
you, Don John?
If I had one job in the film industry, I would be the insert shot guy on Cleaner.
So I got a funny story for you, Mark. Some funny story for you. Mr. Cluett sends me a message to watch this movie, The Cleaner.
Wait, did you watch the Lucy Liu one?
No,
The Cleaner.
I sit down and I thoroughly enjoyed the film. An indie noir drama with a surprising performance by somebody named King Orba. Dude was fantastic. Shelley Long, Luke Wilson, Josh Brolin's daughter, Sean Penn's daughter, Bill Paxton's daughter. The movie was great. And then I realized, as I texted him last night, it's not The Cleaner, it's Cleaner. So I had to sit back down after watching The Cleaner and watch Cleaner. And in terms of quality, this is night and day from the original Cleaner that I saw 4 hours before.
See, you gotta message me these things to clarify the film before midnight my time, before I go to bed.
Kids, this is where grammar comes into play. If you don't pay attention to the articles, your whole night could be. I could have sworn. I was like, wow, this is. One, I didn't see how this was Renny Harlin, the original, The Cleaner, was Renny Harlin adjacent. I was like, wow, this is the most mature, deep-thinking movie I've ever been on this show for. Oh, it's not the movie. Okay, I get it now. And then I watched Cleaner, and I was like, oh, Oh. And just slowly, if you can look up the word convoluted in the dictionary, I think cleaner would be right next to it. Just waving at you. Cleaner.
You know what's funny? I found a review that said that this movie's too mainstream to attract genre interest and too tangled for multiplex crowds. And listen, I think that's true because it's way too clean. Like Renny Harlin, with any budget, he'll make a movie seem glossy and good. He knows the shots, he understands the shots, he'll get it done. But then the plot here is a lot. And so it's kind of in this weird middle ground of like it's not going to be a Brick or any of those movies, which is a weird pull.
Right.
And then it's not going to be what's a Knives Out, I guess.
Yeah.
I just pulled two Rian Johnson movies out of my head. What is happening today?
It's not going to be a Last Jedi.
It's in the middle ground, right? Like it's
a thriller mystery where the protagonist is a dirty cop.
That
precipitates a situation that further traumatizes his own child in a denouement where the bad guys win, play like it's a good thing. That's cleaner.
The ending of this film is diabolical.
I thought Con Air had a weird ending. This is the weirdest ending of them all.
The happy ending where this pages long list of corrupt cops gets burned. And everyone's like, we're not going to talk about this, it's fine. And that's the happy ending of this film.
Well, and also a guy's murdered by a kid.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who's already she was already traumatized. Now we're fully traumatized her, where she's seen the loss of her own mother as a child, and then before she's even out of a childhood, has murdered a person.
It's not just a person; it's her godfather.
Oh, sorry,
this
her
guy
godfather.
that she's been overjoyed to see more so than her dad recently. Yeah. Like he's always been there.
And she is deadly accurate with this gun.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't shoot him to stop a fight. Okay, sorry. We're skipping all over here. What was Samuel Jackson's plan at that moment of the movie?
What was his plan at any point in the film? Okay, so this is one of those films. I enjoyed this as a kind of mystery, as a thriller.
It's 88 minutes, right?
UK cut 85 because it runs a little quicker in this country. The acting in this throughout, great. Give me a noir with Eva Mendes as a femme fatale. I'm here all day.
Sure. A little spirit reunion here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like walking into an office and she's brooding against the window with those slat blinds going across. That's pure noir. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
The plot is. I can't remember where I was going with it. I was going to end this with a negative point. But I can't remember
Jay,
where this started.
So this is you're right though. This is the thing about Renny Harlin. Like Renny didn't write this movie, and at this time, his films weren't really doing too well, and so he Samuel Jackson brought him this script, and I think this was kind of his attempt to be like, oh, I'm going to make something a little bit more mature. I'm going to try to kind of expand myself as a director, and so they just take this. So I mean that movie was not really well received, and it didn't even make too much money, and this is coming off of like Mindhunters, which didn't do too well, Driven didn't do too well, Exorcist at the beginning. So I think
Nightmare to Shoot. Yeah.
I think he just needed something, right? Like he's like, I'm going to mature my game. And so Sam Jackson brought him the script. And so I think, when Sam Jackson brings you a script in, 06, maybe when they shot this movie, you go do it. Like he's like, hey man, I got a movie for us. We're going to go down to Louisiana, good tax rebates down there. We'll shoot the movie in Shreveport. It'll give you something to do. So Renny goes down there with this script of his. And I think he just shot the heck out of it. Like, listening to the commentary, I like the on location work. I think the movie looks good. I was joking about the insert shots, but they look good. But yeah, the script, man, it's like this like he misses his daughter's goal. He's never home. He yells at her.
He's a horrible father.
Horrible father. Not a good dude. He got the man who killed his wife killed in prison, and then that led to some backlash, and then he doesn't call out Harris anymore, and then it's a wild amount of plot. But yeah, I think that's just the thing about Renny Harlin. He can make anything look good. You just gotta get him that good script, like Shane Black, right, with The Long Kiss Goodnight. Just get him a good script, and he can cliffhanger even. Like, get him something good, and he can make it look good. And I just think, yeah.
Sorry, this cleaner feels to me like a kind of series-long arc of Monk. Like you'd have like a detective story of the week, or crime of the week, but in the background across a whole season, there's this thing that keeps looking back. And this feels like in the background of 22 episodes, you'd piece together the plot of Cleaner, whilst Adrian Monk is off solving other little crimes here and there. I love Monk. Monk's great.
I laughed at the fact that the guy we never meet, who one of the dangling plot lines, Robert Vaughn from Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Sure,
he's the police chief.
Robert Vaughn.
We never meet this guy.
From Towering Inferno.
They just keep saying his name. And
it was something like, it was like a drinking game. They kept saying Robert Vaughn. I was like, okay, are we going to meet Robert Vaughn? Is he behind this in some sort of way? Like he's going to get back at Samuel Jackson for maybe getting him in the situation? Nope, that's not the plot of the movie. Nope. Okay, is he the one that got killed in the thing? And I realized like halfway through all of my trying to figure out what was going on that I'm trying to make the movie better, and I can't. I mean, the only logical way this movie should have ended is Samuel Jackson dying and them cleaning him up. That should have been, Ed Harris kind of said, "Who's gonna clean you up?" Whatever his name
Tom.
is. That should have been like should have died together sort of situation. But they went for the weirder ending, which is Ed Harris.
Palmer shoots Ed Harris.
Kiki Palmer.
And we get the table throw. We get the glass table smash in slow motion.
I do love a film where one shot is in slow motion and nothing else the whole film.
We got one slow mo shot. Which would we use it on? I don't know.
Ed Harris.
It's like the F word. Got one F word in the movie. Where do we use it?
Hey, DJ, for our listeners, can you explain the plot of this movie?
Okay, guys. Here we go. Samuel Jackson is a corrupt cop. We don't know he's corrupt until maybe like 45 minutes in, who cleans up crime scenes. He's a cleaner, not the cleaner. That was a better movie. So in the midst of cleaning a file he gets from the girl from Psych, he realizes that the job was not sanctioned by the police department. He cleaned up a crime scene and nobody knows there was a crime. And now he's trying to get to the bottom of it and also keep himself, not as a suspect of a murder that he doesn't know who got killed. And that's the concept on paper is fine. And then you realize there is no good guy in this movie. Samuel Jackson is a piece of crap, but he's not as crappy as the other pieces of crap. Like, Louis Guzmán is also a piece of crap, and Robert Forster kind of is a piece of crap.
Hero of the film.
I guess Keke Palmer isn't a piece of crap, though she's a murderer. And Eva Mendes also piece of crap. Who isn't a piece of crap in it? I guess the girl from Psych, I guess, isn't a piece of crap, and the Spanish guy's not a piece of crap. What is he doing at the end of the movie?
He's cleaning up. He's cleaning up.
It would make sense if Samuel Jackson died and he took over the business. But Samuel Jackson's not dead. Where's Samuel Jackson? Where'd he go? Where'd Eva Mendes go?
I think you could recut the story and reframe it in a way that Ed Harris and Eva Mendes are somehow the good guys. And he then gives himself up at the end and dies. Somehow. But
it was like you could cut it in a way where he was like, he got in a fight with the guy who, had his baby aborted, I guess, and he just accidentally killed him, and then he thought he went to Samuel Jackson, and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, and there's like 6 dangling plot lines, and we never get the resolution of. We get the resolution of maybe 2 of them. So
Let me ask you a question though. Would you want that in a 2-hour movie, or would you just prefer this 85-minute movie?
I think Clued is right. This would probably be better as a show. If this was a series where we are as a movie, I don't think you have the facilities for that, as I would say.
There is a sitcom called The Cleaner, which follows a crime scene cleaner in the UK, played by Greg Davies. It's 2 seasons out so far, but it's more of a comedy where like each crime scene he's cleaning up, there's a wacky neighbor. Or the first episode is Helena Bonham Carter's in it, and she's the wife of the victim, and she definitely killed him, and comes back to the house and terrifies Greg Davies because she's covered in his blood still. The show's okay. So that this would work as a show, but it's not like that's not a whodunit. It's just like this guy's an oddball, and he's
Right.
encountering these characters.
You know what it screams like? That ending screams like a test audience thing. It screams like a test audience, like, we don't like this ending. Can you make it a little bit more upbeat? We don't want Samuel Jackson's character like that, because it feels like it was the way they shot it, where it's like a bunch of close-ups, and then you show Samuel Jackson, you hear the gunshot go off, like they changed it. They, like you were saying, alternately cut it. I think they alternately cut this movie. Something is odd about that ending scene, that confrontation. It doesn't make sense to me.
So Ed Harris
Yeah.
calls him up to clean the house. Correct.
Ed Harris was good in this, by the way. I like
Yeah,
Ed Harris a lot.
Right.
Oh, I mean, you get Eddie H. He's gonna be good.
Fantastic. The scene where he like, your family to me, Tom, what am I to you? That's
Yeah.
some like top tier Ed Harris.
He's too good
guy-
for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, Harris is too good for any movie. This is like the third time we've covered Ed Harris on this show. We love him and his weird shaped head. He's great.
How dare you?
But I guess I do. All right, so he schedules him to go to the house. He cleans the house.
Right.
But then he goes back the next day, and then Eva Mendes acts all weird about it because
Is she acting
she wasn't.
weird? Or does
What?
she? Is she acting weird, or does she not know?
Oh,
She does not know.
yeah, does
She
not know. So that's the wrong word. She doesn't know, and then he's like, "What?" And then she hunts him down because she's like, "Yeah, I hunted that address down," but she doesn't know that Eddie H did that, what he did, and then hired him. So then they sort of come like connected.
Oh yeah, because I mean, go back a few steps where Ed Harris is having a relationship with Eva Mendes, who is married to someone else.
We
who,
never see everything. We could use a flashback there to show who this person is that's dead.
Sure, he's played by Robert Vaughn, and he's had a vasectomy, so he can't get Eva Mendes pregnant, but she gets pregnant from Ed Harris. And the husband makes her get rid of the baby. Well, no, that's not what happens. She gets rid of the baby to stop her husband from finding out.
Yeah.
Ed Harris assumes that the husband made her get rid of the baby.
So she's a piece of crap, right? That makes her a piece of crap.
Well,
she lied to Ed
she's
Harris.
cheating on her husband for one thing.
Well, yeah. Well, yes. On top of it being, I'll let that kind of go. But she lied to Ed Harris about what happened with the baby, right? That makes her an ultimate piece of crap.
He's like a
Right.
femme fatale, right? A classic
Right,
noir femme fatale. So then that
Right.
kicks off Ed Harris killing the dude.
Norcutt.
Mm.
Yeah,
North,
not Jeff Bridges, not the dude from Big Lebowski.
No, sure.
And then Samuel Jackson
Bo
cleans it,
Bridges.
and then everything happens, and you get the ledger, and then Luis Guzmán gets involved. And I've watched this movie twice and listened to the commentary, and just still gets very nebulous. This movie,
It doesn't help because there's the list of all of the corrupt cops.
and he's
There's
on it.
like, and so Sam Jackson's on it and Luis Guzmán's on it.
And you start
And,
thinking
like-
Ed Harris is on it, but Ed Harris is like, I'm not on it. I did this because I knew Ed Harris was the bad guy. Kid,
Sure. Yeah.
if you ever watch the show Law and Order, every time you see they go to like a whole bunch of suspects, and you see like one like, oh wow, that actor's on this show. He's usually the bad guy. Once Ed Harris showed up, I'm like, okay, he's the bad guy, but how is he the bad guy? Maybe he's a crooked cop. But when he flashes his badge, I'm like, okay, he must have done this for a different reason because I know he did this. I knew it wasn't Luis Guzmán. I knew it was probably either Eva Mendes or Eva Mendes and Ed Harris, and Ed Harris was trying to. I thought it was something having to do with Ed Harris.
But also, you just named all of the characters. Like there's 4 characters in this film, so
No.
it's gonna be one of them.
I knew Ed Harris was involved in the murder in some
Yes,
capacity.
sure.
Either he knew about the murder or he did the murder. But he's playing dumb the whole time. I go, I don't know, maybe you should just stay out of it. When your friends telling you to stay out of it, like Jake, if you came up to me or Mark and we were like, yo, I think I might have been be getting framed for something.
You should
We wouldn't be.
stay out
Hey, you
of
know
that.
what, Jay? Stay out of it. Don't do anything. I'd be like, Jay, leave the country immediately. Run.
The tagline on the DVD for Cleaner is, how do you prove you're innocent of murder when you are the one who covered up the crime? Firstly, too wordy of a tagline. But that premise is, like, Sam Jackson's character being framed isn't really that big of a part of the story.
No, he's not framed though.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the body. That's what the
we think you were there because there's cleaning products at the scene, and that never really goes anywhere. I guess
what I thought it was gonna
And his assistant has the alibi too, though. She's the one who got the call
Yeah.
Right.
to go to the house. So it's like,
I thought
I went there and cleaned it.
all the cleaning products he uses are like general, and I thought they were gonna catch him on because he says in the beginning, "I use Listerine,
Special
not that."
cocktail, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be that
Special
would
cocktail.
be the smoking gun. Oh, you are the only cleaner in the tri-state area that uses Listerine. You mentioned it in your business pitch or whatever. That's what I thought. But you're right. It has nothing. His framing means nothing. It's like absolutely innocuous to the whole plot of the movie.
The list of the cops that doesn't really go anywhere because I guess that's not the motive. That's just a red herring. But it's so much of the film is this red herring.
And maybe you want to watch City Primeval, and then just go through that book again, like they're doing in that show. I don't know if you've watched Justified City Primeval.
I haven't seen any Justified.
I'm halfway through it. I kind of paused in the middle. I was waiting for it to end because I wasn't liking where it was going, so I'm gonna wait. I'll watch it eventually.
I like some Boyd Holbrook character actor. I like his character work recently.
Yeah, I don't mind Boyd Holbrook and Timothy Oliphant's amazing. I love him in everything. It's just they seem like they were trying to do everything but have them in scenes together, which was annoying to me. I was like, just put Boyd Holbrook and Timothy Oliphant in the show. But yeah, we're talking about in that show they had the book with the judge's dirty book of like criminals that were on the take, people on the take and whatnot.
My man Keith David, who's the best. And listen though, I think this movie came from one idea. A cleaner is hired to go clean a house. They go and clean it. The next day they come back to drop something off. Hey, I forgot this. And they're like, I didn't hire you. Like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, on paper, it's a great
That's
premise.
actually, and I think it came from a late night when people had a few beers and they're like, what about this?
What if the cleaner that makes every terrible decision he can possibly think of?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And lies to people and does this. But like at its core, it's a good idea. Mm. And all they had to do, though, was just keep it very simple. Like, film noirs get twisty, but they don't. Like, it's just a dude getting lied to, and it leads him down some bad places. And, that's what it leads towards. And I think if this one was just, he had a piece of evidence or something he was actually framed, like, that's an interesting concept there. But yeah, they just, I don't know. Like the whole thing with the daughter, and credit to Renny Harlin. He's like, one day Keke Palmer is going to be nominated for an Oscar. And she almost did for Nope, which makes me happy.
She also, hosted SNL.
Really amazing story. Hannah Beachler, Oscar winner, production designer. She was working on this movie, and she was a buyer. She was just doing some production design. She had moved to New Orleans because she heard work was there.
Right.
And on the set, so during the commentary, this is like 08, 09, so Renny doesn't even know about the Oscars yet that she's won. But he's like, yeah, like on set, there's this lady, Hannah Beachler, and she was just taking notes, and she was really smart, and she was just like on it. So I guess he looked at the production designer and was like, hey, we need to give her a bigger role. And she decorated most of the sets. She did like an incredible job working on the film. And at the end of it, Renny Harlin walked up to her, and she says this in a lot of her interviews. He's like, you're not an art department person anymore. You are an art director. You're a production designer. He's like, you're too good. So just call yourself that, and you will get a lot of work because you're really good. And she went and did that, and now she has an Oscar. So our man Renny notices talent and told her that she needs to call herself a designer, and now she has an Oscar.
I wish he had that much, foresight and I don't know, enthusiasm with the writer of this movie. He should have went to the writer. Hey, guys, could we like do another pass on this, maybe two, just to figure out how this is? Because again, we've all said it. The premise is fine. It just gets so convoluted. You could strip a lot out of this movie and get a good, basic, interesting device for some good performances. Ed Harris. You can maybe femme fatale up Eva Mendes a little bit more because she's kind of like trying to be femme fatale, but it seems like they don't want her to go full out.
Well, it's mostly in daylight as well. This should be entirely set at dusk.
So at night, yeah. I think if Samuel L. Jackson, I don't want to say he's miscast in this, but like him as
he's the one who wanted it though. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, it's his idea, but make him the Guzmán character.
No,
give me
I'd
somebody
say
more every guy.
Keep him as he is. Like when we have the scene at his high school reunion at the start, and he's just telling everyone about this process.
That's cool. Yeah,
so charismatic. That's pure.
Yeah.
It's pure.
Never again.
Never again. That was as cool as he was.
That gave me flashbacks to all things changing lanes, where he's talking about like he is champagne. Like that
Right.
sequence. That's all I remember from Changing Lanes. I don't know why that film was in my head.
Of all the Samuel Jackson movies that you can think of.
He's so
Was that
charismatic.
the Ben Affleck one?
Ben
That's Ben
Affleck.
Affleck.
That's
Road
the Ben
rage
Affleck
film.
one, yeah.
I think
I was thinking of Formula
entire plot
51. He was giving me a little Formula 51 vibe there, but I think you guys call it
the 51st state.
51st state is what you guys call over there? Yeah.
Not 51st dates, the 51st state. A confusion that has occurred on podcasts before.
It's happened.
It's kind of a bummer though, because this is his lead. Like Sam Jackson doesn't
Shamwell
get
Jackson.
the lead role in a lot of shows.
Right.
And then it's The Cleaner, or we're not gonna get into it, or like Secret Invasion. And like this is a guy who's been in some of the best movies ever made.
They don't use him.
Yeah.
Like, the way they use him, but they don't give him stuff to do. Like you could if you're gonna make it like Caveman's Valentine, he has more stuff to do. And here where you're doing a noir, you're trying to do a noir, the double indemnity sort of thing, and you don't even give him that. He's kind of like a passenger.
Mm-hmm.
He's the audience's eye to the thing, but it's like he doesn't get to do any more of the cool stuff. Like this, I'm trying to think. Does he do any cleaning other than the first scene we see him clean in the house? Does he do anything other than that? Does he use any skills that he's acquired as a cop / cleaner later in this movie that I can recall?
No, I mean, there's other scenes of him cleaning, but that's just because he's just doing his job. That's not
doing his job. Yeah.
Work.
I thought he was going to use his skills to get to the bottom of who's behind the murder, but he doesn't really. He's kind of just stumbling around. I was like, oh man, you could use Samuel Jackson in better ways than this. I don't know.
That's a good point too. If you think about it, recently the Bricklayer just came out, and
oh yes,
which I love. Get over yourself, Aaron Eckhart. I got very defensive over that. My apologies. But they
throw it out there.
How dare
stop it!
Mark's punching his microphone.
You have Jason Statham with the Beekeeper, but then that leads into other things, or the Bricklayer, or even Jean-Claude Van Damme in Time Cop gets to use time travel in inventive ways. Like, give him a way to clean. He was a cop. He cleans scenes. Like, he knows how to hide evidence. So maybe he knows
how to find evidence.
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
Eva Mendes, he sprays her hand with a blink and it has blood. It shows that she still has blood on her hand, so she's guilty of something. Anything. Just give me something.
Or like one of his fancy, he's cocktails that he's, created just explodes and blows people up, or does whatever.
He's being that cop situation where for some reason Ed Harris hires another cop we never see again to attack Samuel Jackson for some reason. Whatever. But have him being pinned down, and he only has whatever's in his truck, and he makes like a bomb and like gets out of the situation somehow. Anything.
He kills Ed Harris by poisoning him with the untraceable detergent that has no scent.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. But here's the thing too. Like look at his IMDb. He did Coach Carter, some 05, Coach Carter, Triple X, State of the Union, Extras, The Man, Freedom Land, Snakes on a Plane. And then he goes to Black Snake Moan, Home of the Brave. Let's see, Resurrecting the Champ, 1408. He voiced 5 episodes of Afro Samurai. He did 2 episodes of Great Performances. And then he's on to Cleaner. Then he does Jumper. And then there's Iron Man. And then there's Lakeview Terrace. Gospel Hill, Soul Man,
better in Jumper.
The Spirit. But this guy makes 14 movies a year. So the Cleaner probably shot in a month, right? You're not getting Ed Harris on this movie for long. No, you're not getting Sammy J on this movie for long. And this was his idea because he's friends with Renny. Right. So I bet you they just had a script. They had an opening. Hey man, I got like 3 days in Shreveport. And so they just went down there and shot it.
I they didn't have enough time to do rewrites.
No. I guarantee you there was no time for a rewrite. And Renny said he looked at the script and had to change a few things, but for the most part, I guarantee you this was all about just like making it cheap in Louisiana, finding the location, shooting it, and getting it out. And I'm telling you, Sam brought it to him. So it really seems like Sam's like, hey man, here's a cool movie I want to star in. You can direct it. Let's go do it.
There's also at least 14 golf courses in Shreveport.
Yeah, that is true. Writer.
and like it's just, I'm telling you, I really believe that that's what this was. And if this was $100 million movie, or if this was a TV show, I think a lot of the complaints are absolutely like valid, but I'm not saying this movie. Listen, this is there's way too much plot in this movie. I can never really do. I couldn't defend it. I couldn't defend it in court.
Right,
But,
of course not. No, but what you're saying makes sense. But that kind of helps my point, which would be, look, we don't have a lot of time. Let's just streamline this bad boy. Let's cut out all these subplots that aren't gonna go anywhere, and just make this a basic blah blah blah. It doesn't have to have a happy ending. It doesn't have to have anything like that. Let's make this a vehicle for Sam and Ed to do some stuff, to have some scenes together. Like their scenes together are good.
Yeah,
it's just give them.
Yeah.
Just give them some. You don't have to. The problem with this movie are the side stuff. We don't need any of the stuff with the. I guess it's supposed to be a red herring, the corrupt cop thing, but you don't really.
And like the Miguel maybe having like an ex-con working for him is like set up.
Yeah, I guess
it's the connective tissue, like the scene where Tom works out how Eddie and Anne know each other.
Right.
Because he sees the plaque in Eddie's apartment with Anne's name on it. I love Renny. That's so poorly directed, I think, that sequence.
And lazy.
It's like you have Tom glancing over it and just like that, holding that shot on the plaque for ages. It's being so obvious that's like, from Tom's perspective, he's given himself away there. Like,
well, now
it's
not
poorly directed.
Well, they did it in Die Hard 1 with the Bill Clay thing, so why can't you do it in my movie? So yeah.
But that's I mean, that's we're in on it, and John McClane's not. Like, that's showing us. But here it's like, okay, now everyone's in on it. You're on it. Ed Harris is in it. Tom's in on it. Everyone's got it. Okay.
Everyone's in on it.
Oh, why? But like Tom he basically walks backwards out of the room, staring at this proof, so that Ed Harris knows that he's seen it and was going to come up. Like, what? Just be subtle, man.
I don't think Renny was totally comfortable with this though. Like,
yeah,
he's the guy that blows up things, and he's the guy who goes bombastic. And the best thing about his movies, I think, are, Jay, we've seen some things in his movies that we've probably never seen in any other movie ever. Like, that's his
Shock in a
strength,
Kitchen.
right? Like, that's his strengths. And so, the problem with Cleaner is that there's nothing new in this movie at all, aside from an interesting idea. And that's the bummer. Like, I think in his head, he's like, I got to try to be subdued. I really believe it. Like, he's like, I've had some bombs, so I'm going to try to show people that, hey, I don't need to blow up Eva Mendes in the first act. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
but he knows how to make tension. He can do,
face.
Yeah. He can do tension, though.
Yeah,
even Deep Blue Sea and Cliffhanger and Die Hard 2, he understands how to make a scene tense. Yeah. And when you're working with a noir, that's like your sword, tension, or a thriller.
But I think noir is tough, though. Like, he's good at creating tension within the action genre. But I don't think people know how hard it is to create a taut thriller. Like, that's like, I think that's like the best ones, right, are the combinations of writer, director, actors, editing, music. Like, this movie just never had that chance. It's like, I'm not sticking everything you said, DJ and Jay. I agree with you. I'm just trying to think of like why Cleaner is Cleaner and not. Does that make sense? Like, it just seems, man, like, but like, you watch a movie, I don't know, this is random, like Breakdown or something with Curdy Russ, and it's just, it's an excellent thriller, but it's
simple
hard.
Though, simple movie though, stripped down.
Yeah, that's like good guys, bad guys.
Yeah,
straightforward.
You were talking about A to B. I think we were doing that off mic before. That Breakdown's A to B. They should have made this A to B,
not to C. Cleaner, right? It should have been
A to C. I'll give B to C. We'll make it B to C.
But you're right. There's no there and back again. There's this is a odd one. But it's 88 minutes.
Right. It's short, and you get you got a good Ed Harris in there. I love me some Ed. So if you like Ed Harris, I mean, this is nowhere near like History of Violence or Abyss or anything like that. But he's still gonna get. You guys have probably talked about it often, but I have never said it on my show. I'm trying to think of a bad Ed Harris performance. Has there been a performance Ed Harris has done where you're like, God, Ed Harris sucked in that?
I think there is one. Let me look.
Because Appaloosa was good in that, even though I don't like that movie that much. I mean, the movies he could be in could be bad, But have you ever watched an Ed Harris performance where you're like, ugh, cringe? Like, The Rock, he's good in that. He might be the best acting in that movie.
Oh man, he's really good in Mother.
He's great
Yeah.
in Truman Show.
Night Riders, he's incredible in.
I
haven't seen
didn't.
Night Riders.
I didn't love him in The Right Stuff personally, but I
What?
wasn't. I wasn't a huge fan of The Right Stuff. Bored me a little bit. I'm sorry.
Well, that's not. He didn't direct it.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
like his performance, I think he felt a little miscast to me in The Right Stuff. But
Really?
I don't know. I'm not gonna die on that hill because I've seen it once and it was a few years ago.
I think he embodied that, like, kind of. I mean, he's great in Apollo 13. Like he embodies that old school Americana, buzz cut, do everything kind of guy. That's kind of Ed Harris. But then he'll sometimes get a little kooky in A History of Violence, and he's very threatening.
So good.
And then, or he'll be Abyss Charming, or he's rare. I mean, I'll say rarely. Rare. I can't think of one, but I don't remember ever.
Geostorm? How was he in Geostorm?
I was thinking Top Gun Maverick because he's just
good
so...
at Geostorm. I hate that movie, but he's just there because when he's on the screen, you're like, okay, good. I don't have to really worry about the next 5 minutes. He might say some bull crap that doesn't make any sense script wise, but he's not going to sleep through it. He's going to give you his acting chops. He's not going to go like what was the movie he did where he played the painter?
Pollock.
He's not going to be Pollock levels, but he's still got he doesn't sleep. He doesn't Harrison Ford sleepwalk. I'll put it that way.
Sure.
Harrison Ford will sleepwalk eventually. He's a great actor too, but when Harrison Ford's checked out of a movie, you know it immediately.
Yeah, it was made after 2014.
You know what's interesting? You watch Firewall and you feel your body draining of energy when he's on screen.
It's like a lucid dream, that movie.
Now, I will say, like Top Gun Maverick, right? He's fine, but he's just
great.
Basically come in and be this guy. So I guess, but he's not sleepwalking.
For 5 minutes at Harris. He goes, I got it.
Now, what about like National Treasure Book of Secrets with his accent?
Like,
I'm not daddy.
The scene that we covered of that when he's drowning in the water and the contortions his face makes in that scene, you can't go against that. I'm intrigued to know like how committed he was to his role as Blade Ranger in Planes, Fire and Rescue.
I haven't seen that movie.
How committed he was as playing Lonnie in an episode of Chips.
He's got money in the bank, Jay. Do not be pulling out these animated craps. That last
Milk
one I think
Money.
he just made up.
Milk Money. What about Milk Money?
Oh, he's good at Milk Money. What are you talking about?
Jay, have you heard of Milk Money?
I've heard of Milk Money, and I'm shocked that DJ hasn't done it as a commentary on his podcast.
It's one of the craziest movies I can think of from 95.
Might be too good for us. Milk Money's good, man. Stop
hey, let's hire this woman to like fall in love with my dad. Like, man, I applaud the person who got that idea.
Stepmom, he's good. He's good in Stepmom. He's the one that puts the ring on the string and it goes down to Julia Roberts' hand. He's good, man. Ed Harris is good. Hey,
I'm gonna say it. Night Riders is his best performance.
Oh, slow down, man. History of Violence changed my life. We were talking about changing my life earlier. Hey, don't forget your shoes, Mrs. Saul. He's fantastic in History of Violence.
I always think about Hurt when I think about that movie, though. Like, you idiot. Like, they're like, would you go get him? Like, it's... Or what's that scene where he just kills all those guys and Hurt's like, whoa!
That's History of Violence. He goes, how did you F that up? How could you F that up? History of Violence, kids. Great movie.
I had to get William Hurt tea once, and then he liked it, so then I became his tea guy on a set of a movie.
I would put that on my business card. I was William Hurt's tea guy.
They're like, Mark, you can get him tea? I'm like, what kind of tea? I'm like, well, I got to figure this out. So
I bring him a flight of teas.
I brought it up there all sheepishly, and he was like,
Okay, I think I'm gonna say A Beautiful Mind might be a little. Not Ed Harris's not his best work. I think.
Are you kidding me?
No, hang on. But he's. That's kind of intentional, I think, because spoiler alert for Beautiful Mind.
Grizzled, imaginary.
Right, his character is imaginary,
man?
so it's okay for him to be a little over the top and caricature. I think.
I think he's perfect in that role where you buy him as that's the whole thing is that you have to buy him as a shadow government agent. So because what's his name? Russell Crowe's character believes him, and then you realize, oh, he's fake the whole time. But it's like, well, he can't be fake. That little party's like, he can't be fake. Yeah, he's fake. Of all the ones I thought you would go after, Beautiful Mind is not the one I think he's going
He's
after.
so good in The Rock too. Like watching The Rock, you're just like, I thought he was never going to work with Michael Bay again, and then he popped up in Pain and Gain. So that gives me hope of maybe a Cameron.
He's in this new movie called
he's never going to work with Cameron again. Cameron tried to kill him. What are you talking about? No, it's never going to happen.
Didn't Cameron try to kill him multiple times?
Yeah. I think he probably did.
I think he killed him. He brought him back to life.
He definitely left a part of his soul in that tank.
Yeah. It's true.
So I think the conclusion we've come to is Ed Harris is always great, and we should stop
Ed Harris is
bad
good.
things in his career.
He's very live. Yeah. He stays like a cheetah, Jay. Like he's very.
He's always been 70. Like he's 2 years younger than Sam Jackson in this film.
He was 70 in the white stuff.
I asked my wife how old she thought Sam Jackson was in Cleaner. She's like 42. He's 59. He's 59 in this film. He looks great for 59. The wig's doing some work. But the fact Ed Harris is 2 years younger than him is nuts.
What? That's insane. Ed Harris looks like he's 20 years older than him in this movie.
I do want to say, when I was watching Apollo 13 back in the day, I didn't mean to rhyme there.
Okay.
I should have just kept it going.
Keep going. Yeah.
But I was like, I remember watching Ed Harris in that movie and being like, this dude's throwing a heater.
Yep.
Like this guy, I don't get that feeling much. I got that a lot last year though. In 2023, I had a lot of those moments. But Ed Harris, I remember watching him when I was 13, and I was like, this guy, he's good. Like everybody else was good, right? Everyone else was great in that movie, but I'm like, this dude's got it. Like even though he's had it for 15 years, but I don't know. I just remember that feeling of watching him. Like this guy's good. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
I saw this is the movie that he probably hates anybody ever bringing up. First time I saw him was The Abyss, and I was like,
never talk about it.
Yeah, he would never talk about it. But I think he's fantastic in that movie. Like that scene with him and Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio, they have to pick who's gonna is one of the most tense scenes for me I've ever seen. I saw that movie when I was young, and I didn't understand. I was like, wait, what do you mean he's gonna drown him? I didn't understand what was happening, and I was like, wait, what? That scene, the way they play it, the fact that he kisses her before he puts the helmet on, it's just that was the first, and that's the first time I saw Ed Harris in anything. And then I went back and I saw some of his older stuff, and then Apollo 13 hit, and then Truman Show, he's great in that.
Oh yeah, great hat work.
Yeah, great hat work. Christov is his name.
You know what's like? He wears that hat, and that hat doesn't wear him.
And those glasses.
I kind of feel like in most movies that hat wears people.
Like a Joey Pants. Joey Pants, that hat wears him.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you watch that thing and it's just like, man, this guy wears that hat. I bet you, how many hats were sold after that movie?
Oh, not for Truman Show. No.
Really?
No.
How many were returned because they couldn't?
How many were returned for that movie?
What about Don Cheadle in Volcano? He had good hat work in that.
Yep.
He comes in with a hat and everyone makes fun of him.
He does wear that stupid hat. Why is he wearing that stupid hat? Because I forgot about that. Show. I forgot he was there.
Yeah, he's all hat in that movie.
It's a giant hat a hat with legs is walking around.
All right. So, quick question for y'all.
Yes.
What are your favorite cleaning scenes in cinema? I can go with a couple while you guys think. I mean, off the top of my mind, it's Willy's Wonderland, where Nick Cage cleans the entire restaurant, but it's very chill and zen, and he cleans that place very quickly. So that's great. I know this isn't gonna be anything original, but Pulp Fiction has a great car cleaning scene.
Yes, it does. That might be one of the best. What's that movie where the guys have a house party? And is it House Party? And they're trying to clean the place up before the parents get back.
It's every movie, isn't it? Where they're all shoving stuff under.
I keep thinking it's Investors in Babysitting, but it's not that one. It's another one of those it's an 80s movie, and it's blanking on me, where they have to clean the house up, and they clean it up just before the parents come back or something like that. One of those 80s movies. Somebody will tell us in the comments.
70 films.
I think Perfect Days, one of my favorite films of 2023. He just cleans a lot of bathrooms around Tokyo. It's a really awesome movie. It's one of my favorites. So yeah, Perfect Days, I think. But if I had to pick one, I would say Willy's Wonderland. It has some good blood cleaning. They clean an entire blood from a bathroom. It's a good cleaning scene.
I got to go with Wally.
Oh, yeah.
All that little guy does is clean. And then when he gets on the Axiom, he meets Mo, who's just a little cleaning guy, and he just spends his whole time cleaning. I love Wally.
His whole life is dependent on cleaning. That's his whole world. And then his world is expanded. He's brought to a world he never even knew of.
Yeah. And Dude Does My Car has one of those big post-party cleanup scenes where they have the bags of rubbish that they spill everywhere. But that's less good. Wally's my answer. What about you, DJ?
Ghibli movies have cleaning scenes too.
The Pulp Fiction scene is great. Mark brought up Pulp Fiction. That whole thing is just tense. It's tense because I have been around the friend who's pissed off, who's just like, just stop talking. That whole thing. It's not about. It's Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta just arguing in the car as they're cleaning. And I've been in that situation where I think, man, I hope this guy does not say another word to me. John Travolta won't shut up. And Samuel L. Jackson just loses his freaking mind on him. I'm Superfly TNT. I'm the guns that never own. That whole thing. Yeah, I've been in that situation. I've done that. I haven't shot a man in a car and covered his blood up or anything. But I've been in a situation where I'm in a mess because of somebody else having to clean a mess. And the friend that caused the mess, I had to like listen to him yammer. I've been in that situation. So yes, I like that scene. I have not killed anybody. I did not shoot Marv in the face. All right, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
We'll take your word for it, I guess.
There's no evidence. Okay, I got no evidence. I'm Eva Mendes here. All right.
Can I tell you what annoys me about movies? The Harry Potter movies.
How long you got? You got a pen and paper? Because I can go on for hours.
I just think wizards and witches, or warlocks and witches, would become very lazy. Yeah. Because like like the home cleaning scenes and that thing.
Don't they use portals to poop or something like that? Didn't she say something like that? J.K. Rowling.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're kind of like,
we don't speak her name, but yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Like they just sort of like, it's like there's like no, like just here's an anti-dusting charm. Like it's I don't know, like just like they're gonna be like those people that use a Wii but lay on the couch and just flick their wrist. Like,
I mean,
so you think they're lazy? You think wizards are lazy, Mark?
It's like,
let's say they're lazy, Mark.
I'm gonna learn all this power and I'm just gonna be lazy.
Like, how long do you want to spend ripping the plot holes out of these films? Because like they never learn basic maths.
No.
They use their main system for sending messages is the slowest flying bird.
Yes, it's true. It's
owls. Like the slowest way.
They have a time travel device, Jay, and they don't use it to solve any problems.
But don't use owls. Email.
Or just send a magic spell the way you just go abracadabra and they can just think of the thing that you just thought. Yeah. You don't need any messages. You don't need a phone.
But
you don't need transportation whatsoever.
The wizarding world should not be centuries behind the human world in terms of communication.
Because they're lazy.
They have trolls putting like papers in a thingamajig or something like. Don't they do something like that? I don't even know. Harry Potter is flawed.
Why are we down this tangent?
I don't know.
Joe Dirt does some good cleaning. I like his cleaning.
Yeah.
Also, you know what's a scene that's long intrigued me is the trunk cleaning, and I know what you did last summer.
I haven't seen that.
So there's a scene where Jennifer Love Hewitt opens up her trunk, and there's a dead body with crabs and a bunch of gross things in there. She runs away, comes back later with her friends, opens it up, 100% clean. Like no smell of crabs, no smells of dead bodies. So during that time, the killer had to drive up to the thing with like a van, unload the body, unload all the crabs, and then use like industrial strength cleaners to get all of the fish and whatever stains, mollusk stains out of the trunk to get it looking totally fine. And when they open the trunk, they're like, oh, this smells like ammonia. No, like, or this smells like Febreze. Like he just cleans everything out. And I found out how long it was. I was doing a job in Snowmass, Colorado, and I noticed that the tree shadows move, and I know what you did last summer, so I found a similar tree with a similar shadow, and while setting up for an event, I clocked the shadow of the tree to see how long it took for the shadow to move. So it took like a couple hours for him to do that. I just want everyone to know. That's what I did in 2017. That's just letting everyone know.
That might be a little weird. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Also, the job was horrible. Like it was probably my least favorite job I've ever had. I did it for a year. I was on the road like 20 cities. It just was not good. And I was up in really high altitude, setting up an entire event by myself, like just cursing everything. Like I almost took a job that paid me a third less. So in 2017, that's like when my writing took off because I was so frustrated with my job. So I started churning out a lot of cool data articles, and that's when I got the Rotten Tomatoes gig because I was just so annoyed with my current job that I like needed a creative outlet. And that's what got me paid writing gigs, was not liking my job. So yeah, I guess it was good. And I was in Snowmass. It was cool. But that's a random story. I just want everyone to know that.
Sure.
But that trunk cleaning's always stuck with me because I don't know how he did it. It's the most impressive thing about that movie.
On the topic of cleaning scenes, the actual scenes in Cleaner, like the blood and gore scenes, are pretty disgusting. Like my wife commented that this film is disgusting, and it's
pretty gross. Yeah.
She loves ER and Grey's Anatomy. This is way worse than anything in those, apparently. Like the murder scene he's cleaning up with, it's on this pristine white sofa with like bloody handprints and just pools of blood and viscera in a hotel room at one point, or just an apartment at one point. So those scenes are very well done.
Does toxic radiation count? The disposal of toxic radiation count? Because I'm thinking of the scene in the show Chernobyl when they have the guys go on the roof.
Oh God,
that scene is incredible.
It's a literal nightmare, from history that occurred,
which actually happened.
Yeah,
there's this place called Chernobyl where there was a nuclear meltdown, and one of the horrible things they had to do was they had to get the radioactive material off the roof, and they couldn't use a helicopter or anything because the radiation would just kill anything that flew over it. So they tell these guys they're volunteers, and I know you can only hear this. You can't see me using my quotes. Volunteers who they tell them, I think, you're going to lose about 10 years of your life, but we're going to put you in these suits, and you're going to run on the roof for about 5 minutes.
Oh no, it's like a minute and a half. I think.
Minute and a half.
It's so short.
And just doing it, they said, just doing it, you're losing like 5-10 years of your life. It's automatically gone, and they have to get rid of some of the radioactive material that gets exploded from the power plant onto the roof. And you're following one guy, and I think he rips his suit or something. Chernobyl, great series, but that scene, I was like, holy crap, there's got to be another way, and there wasn't. They went through all the way. They gave you all the options, and they're like, nope, this is the only way to do it. It was horrifying, terrible. So yes, the Chernobyl roof scene, pretty bad.
What if you got hired to clean up their bodies on that site?
You're gonna die.
Pass. I will not do that. Yeah, it's such a fantastic show that I will never watch again. Hey, there's an episode where they just shoot a bunch of dogs. Enjoy. Yeah.
Because they didn't want the radiated dogs to reach into another town, so they had to go around and killing the dogs. Yeah, that show is horrifying. It all makes
sense. It's all for a good cause. Don't show it to me, please and thank you.
And now they're making The Last of Us. Yeah.
But another question, going through Sam Jackson's filmography, this is a guy who the Man that he was in, and then he'll pop up in The Arena. I love The Protege. Actually, we're not talking about that because the movie's beautiful. He'll pop up in Spiral. He'll pop up in just a lot of movies. But some of them don't seem. Yeah, some of them don't seem too concerned with. He'll be in Cell with John Cusack, right? He just Barely Lethal. He takes gigs. So I mean, do you think or RoboCop, the recent RoboCop, or he was in the Old Boy remake, for Pete's sake. So
God, don't remind me.
It's
bad movie.
He's probably not too. He's been in some of my favorite films of all time, but then I think he just takes jobs for money. He's like,
he takes so many jobs. Yeah. He has no choice but to be in some of your favorite movies of all time because he's in every movie.
So then with this one, he probably wasn't too concerned, right? And so I don't know. I'm not saying that makes the movie worse or better, but I think it's just it just seems like a Sam Jackson movie, one of the ones that he's churned out.
I think he rises to the level of his every time he works with Quentin, he's fantastic. It's level above. If it's Django or it's Pulp
Hateful
Fiction, or it's Jackie Brown, Hateful Eight. It's like phenomenal. Hateful Eight wasn't that long ago, and he was great in that movie. So
he said his favorite movie performance though is in Long Kiss Goodnight with Renny and Gina Davis.
He's great in that. Oh yeah. So
and Shane Black's script though, that's the thing, right? Like he has a good script.
They gave him something to do. They have a script where he has material to feed that favored him. Like it was good stuff for Sam. This plot.
He's the dude in distress in that movie, which I like.
He is the dude. But yeah, this character seems like it's not a Samuel Jackson character. It seems like if you would have cast Samuel Jackson as, I don't know, man. I don't want to say the Ed Harris character because Ed Harris is really good in this, but except for the scene at the high school reunion, which seems like a reshoot, by the way, there's nothing Samuel Jackson about this character. There's nothing where he can sink his teeth in. Not really anything.
Yeah.
That's why I keep saying he's miscast, because I'm like, you never gave him anything to flex those muscles with that we know he had, that we've seen him use in many things. Well, where is it here? Either you can't write it for him, or it's not, this role isn't for him. You could have gave him something else in this movie that could make him Robert Vaughn and actually show us who Robert Vaughn is.
But see, he brought it to Renny though. So like, like there's a famous thing on Driven where Renny Harlin directed Driven, but he cut out almost all of Stallone's scenes. And Stallone does an entire commentary for 45 minutes.
50 minutes of scenes, DJ. Like
50 minutes of scenes where, and Stallone does a commentary talking about his 50 minutes of scenes and how pissed off he is that Renny cut all of his scenes. So I think Renny had the power back then.
Right.
But now, after his run, and then Sam Jackson brings you a script and you don't have the biggest budget, like I don't know. It just seemed like he was doing him a favor.
Sly was probably right there, because if you want to get money in your movie, why are you cutting out the scenes of the biggest star in your movie? I've seen Driven in the theater. Sly's the biggest movie star in the movie, if I remember correctly. It's the guy. It's the guy from Inglourious Bastards and the other dude from Remember the Titans,
Hugo Stiglitz.
And then there's Sly. You're gonna cut out all the scenes with Sly? That's like having a basketball team, and I'm gonna put Joe Blow, John, and I'm gonna have LeBron on the bench. Like, what do you do? Why?
Chamberlain, like in the
why am I sitting the major star of the team?
You got Burt Reynolds in there, but
Burt Reynolds. Yes.
I didn't like Driven, but if Driven had been almost 3 hours long, I would have given up doing this podcast. I think.
You got to hear this. We start off the Driven episode. Right. We have the guys from the Too Fast, Too Forever podcast, and Jay's like, I hated this movie before it came out. It features racing. It features everything I hate in movies, and I hate it. Like that was the.
You pulled a me, Jay. You pulled a DJ.
Yeah, he goes, I hate racing. I hate sport. I hate
racing sport film.
Competition. I love triangles.
Wheels.
Love triangles.
He hated something else. Like
love triangles. And
because gas-powered vehicles.
Yeah. There's two different love triangles in Driven.
Yeah. But it was he laid the gauntlet down so early for Driven. Those were the first things that came out of his mouth too.
I mean, I went on there's a podcast that went through American Graffiti song by song. I did the same thing on there. Like, this is about driving and kids. I hate
children and cars. Screw these children.
You invited me here. That was your first mistake.
He's the Grinch of cars, folks.
It was fine. Like, listen, Driven's not good, and I think it was a very much so.
Right.
It was a franchise picture film. No franchise pictures movies were good.
Sure.
So it's. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but it was so funny.
Franchise picture movies right now. See if I can find one that's actually.
Whole 9 yards is the best thing.
That's what kicked them off. Like, they have The Pledge, they have Spartan, but the ones that were like the big budget film, like Sound of Thunder, The Whole 10 Yards.
Not good.
What's the one? Ballistic Expert Sever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I can tell you about that.
Yeah, just Get Carter.
That's on our list for commentary.
Get Carter. Like, it was not a good era, because the guy was just swindling money and Battlefield Earth. He was inflating Art of War. He was inflating budgets and making
most of Graceland. Yeah, he was just fleecing them.
Yeah, and ripping off a German company.
Boondock Saints, not bad. Battlefield Earth, not great. Art
they
of
had
War,
a,
not great.
they had. I mean, the guy just did it to make money.
Yes.
So but I mean,
Caveman's Valentine. It's on there. Samuel Jackson.
I just think Renny did the best he could. I don't think he's ever been a guy to really tailor a script to make. Deep Blue Sea is one of my favorite films of his, but he was being watched closely by Warner Brothers, and so I think he just stayed on it and made a great movie. Like this one, I think he just. I don't know. It just seemed like a real quick.
It seemed like a lot of favors or a lot of his friends hanging out. Because the fact that Robert Forster's in here for one scene is like, what? Wait, what? Because his name's in the credits, the opening credits. So I'm like, oh, wow.
It's with Keke Palmer and Robert Forster.
I'm like, wait.
Like, the first time I've seen those two names crop up in the same credits. But I liked Robert Forster. I like that he doesn't talk to people much. He's got no bedside manner. He's just terrible at talking to people. That was nice.
That was good.
But he rolls with their improv.
Yeah.
Like, we're going out for Thai,
Thai
right?
food.
Yeah.
I like the Jackie Brown reunion. They could have done more with that. That could have been an ongoing character. I got more from that Robert Forster, like one scene that I got of anything with Guzmán. Maybe I'm not a Guzmán fan.
I'm guessing this was the first time either of you watched this film.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When was the first time you heard about this film?
We talked about this a couple months back, and I forgot. That's when I was like, how did I make that mistake of watching the wrong movie first? Because I remember mentioning something about Ed Harris. I was like, I think you said something to me. I was like, what? Ed Harris?
But Mark, when's the first time you remember knowing that Cleaner existed?
Oh, I've gone through his IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes a lot, so I knew it was there. But I never watched a trailer. I was like, oh, Cleaner. Like it was a word to me. And then one time I saw it on Netflix and I put it on. This was probably like a year or two ago. And then it became, this is what it is.
I thought someone had like time traveled and changed the timeline, and this film actually came into existence in 2020. Because I swear before we did this podcast, the film Cleaner didn't exist. Like, it's just one of those.
You think they went to a time? Somebody did a primer and then went to a time capsule. I was like, I want a noir with Samuel Jackson.
It's Sam Jackson, Ed Harris, the cast on this film. Like, it should have at least crossed my radar before now.
Think about that. Think about the cast of this film. How poor this film is. Keke Palmer, Samuel Jackson, Louis Guzmán, Eva Mendes, Ed Harris, Robert Forster. You got like 3 Oscar-nominated actors in there. Maybe 4.
Forster's won, isn't he?
Did he win? I think he was. I know he's nominated for Jackie Brown. I think he was nominated. I don't think he won. Samuel Jackson definitely was nominated. And Ed Harris, I think, was nominated. So yeah,
Ed Harris has had four nominations, never won.
Yeah, so you got 3 Oscar-nominated characters. You got the girl from Psych, who I keep calling the girl from Psych. People call her Broke Elizabeth Shue. And you got like the Spanish guy. He was in something I saw recently. He's like good actor. There's no poor actors.
Pablo Cantillo.
Yeah, there's no poor actors in this movie. Yet the movie is just. That's why I always beat the drum of the script. Fix the script, and you would need all these actors, and the movie would be good. The Cleaner, which I saw, which has this guy I have never heard of before named King Orba, and it was a fantastic performance, but the script was great. The script was like really solid, and this you have all theyese great actors, but the script, the end feels like it was a Mad Libs or Choose Your Own Adventure. Like, how do we get out of this movie? They're running the clock down and it's threw up a shot. Like, I didn't understand what happened at the end of the movie. So yeah, work on your scripts. And I know it was shot like in 2 weeks, but man, at that point, and you're on the time crunch, that's when you got to go look at it and go, okay, how do we streamline this? Because streamlining it will only save us time. Because that means there's less scenes to shoot and less bullcrap. Or editor, or if there's plural. That's when you earn your money. Make this make sense. And I don't think they did a good job of making that make sense. To the fact that we still don't know who Robert Vaughn is. Is he alive? Is he dead? What the cops, they all got away with it? That's a good thing? Keke Palmer, is she going to be in trauma now? Where's Samuel Jackson's character?
We see police brutality in this film. Like when Sam Jackson gets pulled over, the cop, we see them turn off their dash cam and you punch him in the face, and then to then have the end of the film be like, yeah, these guys are all okay, they're all off. Like, I cannot get over that.
All is right with the world.
Like, They had this ledger full of these corrupt police officers.
It was a big book. It wasn't small. It was like 50 cops.
You're talking on a row of each page, 4 or 5 numbers written on every row.
The whole precinct. It's the whole freaking precinct. And that's putting aside the fact that Samuel Jackson had a man murdered. He had a man killed in jail. And
it's the guy who killed his wife. We can have some.
Yeah,
I guess.
Still against the law. It's still true.
But then after that, he went and did after that he became like a bookie, right? And just started messing with. He started tampering with evidence because the funeral.
He was doing all types of crimes for Robert Vaughn that we never see from Man from Uncle. We never even see him. He's doing all these crimes for him. There's a movie right there. Just have him be the guy that covers up all the crimes for the
cleaner.
Yeah, that's a better movie.
Like he's corrupt, and then he does that, but then he gets put into, he gets framed, and then his daughter gets in trouble, and he has to go right and atone for his sins.
My name is Earl.
Just pitched a better movie.
Cleaners.
I just blacked out, guys. That's
Wake up, Mark.
Wait. Where
are you? You disappeared for 5 seconds. Where'd you
go? What movie are we talking about?
We're talking about Driven.
It doesn't matter.
Driven, man. Franchise pictures. Like, oh my gosh,
not again.
I love them so
Driven.
much.
We're going to start from the top. Jay, we're going to start from the top. Driven.
I love Hugo Stiglitz, man. Hugo Stiglitz.
I hate
Stiglitz.
I hate love triangles.
He hates triangles in general. He hates wheels. He hates...
I mean, they're very strong as a shape.
Spark plugs. Anything having to do with some kind of a course or track or whatever you want to call it.
So the one other note I have about Cleaner is... Sam Jackson's character really likes closing doors on crying women. There are two scenes in this film where ladies are crying and he just like quietly shuts the door on them and walks away. I don't want to deal with this.
What a horrible dad. She's having a tantrum attack because she's afraid of you dying, and you're like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah. You're gonna be all right tonight. You're 14 years old. I'm going for beers.
I could go and console this lady who's crying in a convenience store because presumably her husband has passed away.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna leave you to it and get back to cleaning his blood.
That's like something Ricky Gervais would do in like a comedy. Like, I don't really
get paid enough for this. This isn't part of the job description.
Just tell me when you're done, and
I'll leave you to it.
It's gonna back away slowly and close.
Back it up.
Just back it on up.
He opens up the door again to look to make sure.
Still crying?
You still in there? You're still in there? Damn.
Okay. Jay, how's this similar to Deep Blue Sea?
Okay. Long of it.
Can't wait for this. Well, the hair piece got to be number one.
It's not on the list at all. Because I'm bad at looking at. I just assumed that was his actual.
Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, I know he's
that,
bald.
right?
That's
not his real hair. Damn it.
I know, but I just don't. I was in with my wife of like, he looks great for how old he is for this film. He looked great. So yes, directed by Renny Harlin. There's an early scene where they're getting rid of all the bugs in an apartment, and there were locusts on DBC. There's a priest in the funeral montage at the start. They talk about an ill parent. There's an equivalent to the Brenda character, which is Sherry, who's on the phone all day long. There's someone records himself. Sam Jackson's recording himself. Close-up, ominous shot of a door lock.
Okay.
It's one we've not had before.
You're not wrong.
There's a surprise birthday party.
Yeah.
Which crops up in more films than you think it
wow.
would, actually. As a dead mother, and the daughter keeps talking to her dad about it. We get that in, like, that's what Saffron Burrows' character keeps on doing all the time, is telling her dad how her mum's dead. There's numerous dead bodies. Helsinki is graffitied on a pillar.
Yeah.
There's a Renny Harlin staple. There's a lot of doors being closed, as I just mentioned. They talk about forgetting a dead person. There's a cross necklace. There's a secret key. The lead lady has a secret. There's a phone line goes down because unplugged by Ed Harris. And then Sam Jackson's in this film, and there's a lot of Sam Jackson in Deep Blue Sea things. Okay, so we have Sam Jackson telling a grisly story.
Yes.
A lot of people want his business.
That's true.
He imitates a voice from an older piece of media.
That's also true.
Because he does the whole...
he does, I loved you all my life.
Yeah, and Plane Boss, the plane. He's got a good stomach for bodily fluids, because we know in Deep Blue Sea he is a Wendigo.
Yeah.
He's in an elevator at one point, and he works with an ex-con and talks about the ex-cons Criminal
Thomas
Path.
Jane, that's true.
Yep.
That's true.
But in terms of how deep and how blue is cleaner, as I'm sure you know, Deep Blue Sea
Yes.
is approximately 14.5 meters or 47.5
course.
feet deep.
Doesn't know
About
if it's going.
31% blue. DJ, do you think Renny Harlin's cleaner is deeper and or bluer than Deep Blue Sea?
I'm gonna put everything I own on no.
That is the most correct anyone's ever been. There is only one shot of things being underwater, and that is chess pieces being washed in a basin. So in terms of depth, no. This takes place entirely on land, on the ground level, or upper story, or another story, or a roof. Works out on average being 2.25 meters up in the air. About
What
seven.
if Ed Harris
7
was
feet.
deep undercover and the blue is the police?
Well, that
Deep
wouldn't count
blue.
for how I do this, DJ, because I can't quantify that.
Damn it.
So depth-wise, this is our 72nd deepest film, or no, least deep, up in the air. I don't know. It's slightly higher than Pirates of the Caribbean or Stranger Tides, slightly less high than Muppet Treasure Island. And in blueness, this joins the ranks of Renny Harlin not doing blue films. 1.358% blue. I went that specific because Lake Placid is also 1.36% blue. So I had to go to 3 decimal places.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a soccer reference in Deep Blue Sea? Do the sharks eat a guy and they kind of play soccer with his body or something like that? Because there's soccer in this.
The closest they do would be
Football,
with Sam Jackson's character, where they like bite him in half and then someone else comes and catches and eats them all. But I don't think so. Anyway, this is sharks don't have feet for one thing. So this is our 88th bluest film of 94. So it's pretty down there. It's slightly less blue than Lake Placid, slightly bluer than The Long Kiss Goodnight. We have 4 in a row. We have done 3 black and white films on this, and then the next 4 are all Renny Harlin films. So Exodus the Beginning, The Covenant, Long Kiss Goodnight, and Cleaner. And then if you skip Lake Placid, it's Die Hard 2. You skip The Descent, it's Born American. You skip Underwater, it's Cliffhanger. So he's got so many of the films in the bottom 10. He's made very few blue films. As expected, I guess.
It would have been so easy to make this movie more bluer. It's a noir, or at least trying to be.
Starring police. And the guy wearing like a blue hazmat suits and things.
Yeah, man.
They didn't bother. Clearly, they had other things on their mind. They didn't care about this spreadsheet and this listing. The fools. But that'll do it for our discussion on Cleaner. DJ, thank you for joining us. What have you got to plug? Where can the listeners find you?
Simplistic.reviews, or the first show of the year drops. I'm not sure when this is when we're recording this, but on February 1st, the first show of the Simplistic Reviews podcast drops, and then 15th will be Simply 15, and then 20th will be another movie commentary, which I have no idea. Justin doesn't ever tell me. I go in there's those movies commentaries cold, so yeah, just check those things out.
This episode will release on Valentine's Day. On the 14th.
Oh yeah, so you've already heard the first episode of the Simplistic Reviews podcast, where Cluet does make 2 appearances, by the way. So yes, you already have seen it. So tomorrow will be our Simply 15, which I don't know what the subject is because this is in the past, not the future. Because Mark used a time machine to go back and make this movie exist or something.
Wait, where am I?
Wake up!
Whilst you work at where you are, Mark, do you have anything to plug?
Well, hey, I just want to say thank you to everyone listening to the show. Jay, we had a recently really good run. And so, yeah, just everyone who we top 10 United States, top 10 in Canada, top 10 in the UK, Hong Kong, Australia, like on Apple Podcasts. So, there's millions of podcasts out there. So the fact that you listen to us is pretty incredible. And so thank you for listening, everybody. And yeah, we don't take it for granted. Trust me. And it's awesome.
It won't take it for granted. I won't make them. You better not take it. You better not take it for granted.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to any new listeners who are out there who joined us. If there are any Deep Blue Sea adjacent films you want us to cover, then hit us up on social media at Deep Blue Sea Pod, or email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. And you can find Mark's stuff at Movies, Films and Flicks. You can find my stuff there at lifeversusfilm.com. DJ mentioned Specific Reviews. Next week is we're crossing off another of our last remaining Big Shark movies. Open Water is next week with Harmony Colangelo coming back to talk about that one. So that was my first time watching it, and that's a fun episode. But as for this week, as for Cleaner, I had to look up and see what film we were covering because I genuinely forgot. Thank you once again to our guest, DJ Valentine.
No problem. What are we doing? Are you Jay? Wake up, Chloe. Wake up, Mark. Wake up. Am I the only one here?
I've been Jay Cluett.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
And we'll Deep Blue see you next week.